Becky.
Hi, Ron. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Ted, I was wondering if I could get you to explain to us a little bit about the garden here and how this got started.
Sure. Well, we've only been here for about 6 months, but the idea has been going for a while because Brooktrails is full of redwoods, which is beautiful, but not exactly the best place to get your gardening on. So luckily, we got this piece of space donated from the Brooktrails community. And it used to be a tennis court back in the 60s, but the last 20 or so years, it's just been kind of falling apart. So they were excited to see us repurposing the space, and they've donated the space to us, and we've been making good use out of it.
And where do you get the water from?
Actually, we get the water donated by the Brooktrails folks, and it comes in from the lakes.
That's great. So it's not processed or anything.
Nope.
It's just straight from the lake, and so it doesn't cost anybody anything as far as their processed water? Or...
No, and actually the one thing we promised them was that we would use sound water conservation techniques. So that we wouldn't be wasting the local resources, we'd be conserving them and turning it into things the community can use.
So it also forms as kind of an educational tool for teaching people about water usage and how to set that up. And
and ways to get things going.
Great.
Most of us are on drip systems that we stagger at different times so that we can get, you know, the most out of the garden.
Well, I'm really surprised to see the tomatoes have gotten so big and everything. I mean, with the season so short this year, we've hardly had anything maturing, and ripening has been real slow.
We actually didn't even get anything in the ground until mid-May. So mid-May or early June was when we actually broke ground and started planting. So I'm really surprised too. I mean, we were kind of expecting to have little puny harvests, but we've gotten about 30 pounds, 40 pounds of tomatoes out. More than we can really even deal with some days.
Wow. And so were you able to plant pretty much a variety of things, pretty much everything that you would normally plant?
Squash, beans, tomatoes, potatoes, corn. We didn't do any flowers this year, but a lot of the neighbors did. So, you know, bringing in the pollinators too. I noticed we're on the map big time.
What kind of a structure do you have for the organization? I mean, how do you organize? I mean, anything community is always difficult. So it's like, you know, there's 1,000 ways to do it.
I thought you were asking me how I organize my tomatoes.
Oh, no. There's 2,000 ways to do that. Gardening is both a science and an art form. So there's no answers that are written in ink. You know, it's always a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But how do you work together as far as a group? I mean, how do you structure this?
Well, it's actually been pretty easy because most of the people in Brooktrails are community-minded. People are interested in the garden. And we have these lovely redwood beds we built this year, and it's $50 for a membership to have your own plot. But a community membership is only $10, and then you get access to the community harvest, which we are working on this year, and next year should be even bigger and better. And so we have monthly meetings, and we have potlucks and get-togethers and work days. So it's really been a communally put together activity.
So if somebody wants to come in and they really can't do a lot, there's still a place for them to participate. And an older person, older than me.
Oh, definitely. Brooktrails has. I mean, we have members in the community garden who are 3, and we have members in the community garden who are 73. So we're completely open to all kinds of folk. And then the $10 community, the community plot fee is pretty good because you get a T-shirt, access to the community gardens, as well as invitations to all of our events and an ability to put your 2 cents in at our meetings and everything. So we try and keep a multi-level sort of system here.
Great. So, well, first of all, what did you actually do here? I mean, you put the box down. What kind of prep did you do?
Well, there was a lot of kind of gravel underneath the soil because we first had to cut out a ton of asphalt because it used to be a tennis court. So we had to have
3-4 inches thick, wasn't it?
It was pretty gnarly. So we're glad that we were able to get it out, and then we dug down, I don't know, my husband dug down about 3 or 4 feet, and then we put in some really good compost.
And you removed that gravel, and that went?
Well, actually some of that went to fill in some holes and some spaces around here that were uneven. And some of it is up on the path helping cars get down into the garden area.
Great.
And then, we've had some people who say if we can pull up more of it, they're interested in moving it on to other projects and repurposing it for different things in the community.
And what are your plans for the garden? Say by what are you planning on doing by next year? You've got your what?
Yeah.
You have 17 beds now.
Yes.
And then you have the couple, and we'll take a walk around here in a second. But you have the 17 beds.
Mm-hmm.
You have the 3 or 4 community beds.
Yes.
And then I noticed you have a large area that's been opened up, and
Yeah.
then another little area of asphalt. So, what are
We're
your hopes? What are your
our-
hopes
yes,
and dreams and
our-
plans?
Our hopes is to clear out all the asphalt
Uh-huh.
because it's kind of unsightly and nobody really wants asphalt in their garden. We're going to leave in some cement because we want to have some handicap accessible beds so that we can really bring in everyone in the community, have it be full access to everyone. And we're hoping to get many more family plots in the garden, as well as really work on expanding the community space. So that the community space is something that for your $10 membership, you can really get a lot of the bounty out of it. This year we didn't have as much time to put into it because so much just had to be breaking the ground and getting the basic beds put in. But next year our plan is to really work on the community structure, get more families and more people from the community involved, and also probably build a shade structure in the center so we can have a good meeting space and a place to, really come together where we're not, sweating to death or, that kind of thing. So we definitely have a lot of goals. We have a lot of, hopes, and we're always, looking for new ideas too.
What could, if the community were to be able to want to reach out and help you in some way, what would be?
That's always good because this really is a community effort.
Yeah.
So everything we're doing, we don't have a ton of money and a ton of, mostly what we've been looking for is resources. So people have donated soil, people have donated compost, and tools. We got some tools wholesale, and even some tools just from people driving by saying, hey, I've got 5 extra shovels. So we're really looking for time, money, effort, also any resources people have access to.
So by soil, you mean like if somebody's cutting a lot and they have some soil they need to get rid of, then even that kind of soil, it doesn't have to be...
No, it doesn't have to be perfect or, as long as it doesn't have anything hazardous or suspicious in it.
Right,
We're interested in it, and we definitely have...
Okay. Well, do you want to take a little walk around?
Sure, I'd love to.
You can kind of point out things to me. Bring your tomatoes there.
Well, when we planted this year, we just kind of encouraged everyone to plant whatever they felt they wanted. So with that, we've gotten a lot of diversity in the garden. And so we have peppers and eggplants and herbs galore. A lot of things that attract pollinators, which has been really nice since for many years this was just a cement slab. So the actual insect life was kind of lacking. And I've been really happy to see how many butterflies and ladybugs have put us on the map already. See some nice canning tomatoes over there, some good looking eggplants. And then another interesting thing about the garden is that everyone has decided different ways to keep their plants structured. So we have all different kinds of structures going on, and it's definitely been a learning process for us to see what has worked better than other ideas and ways to keep plants off the ground. Oh, it looks like somebody even got some okra. That's nice.
I noticed you get a lot of traffic coming by. Do people pay a lot of attention to this?
Actually, I've heard a lot of discussion about it. My son's preschool carpool comes right past it, and all the little 3-year-olds say, "Hi, community garden," when they go by. So I've heard a lot of people have been interested in just seeing the space repurposed, seeing it turning into something beautiful where before it had been broken beer bottles and chunked up concrete. And then, oh, check this out. There's a beautiful pumpkin over there. It's a nice looking Cinderella pumpkin. So we're definitely in the fall part of the garden. It was a little lush and greener a few months ago, but right now we're just all trying to get in the harvest, get it all prepared or preserved.
Just in the last week, I've noticed a lot of difference in the feeling of fall is upon us.
Definitely. My baby's due around Halloween, and I'm definitely well aware we're going to have a new community garden member any day now.
You look right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm fitting right in. So I like the little pear tomato tree over there. It's interesting to see how all the different tomatoes have had different experiences. So it's been really neat to see all the different structures that different gardeners have decided to use in their plots.
I made up a little seat to go on that fits on the edge of the bed. And
there's one of
another
our community
harvester.
gardeners. I like your little pepper forest back there.
Thank you.
I can see they're ripening nicely.
Coming along.
Ah, and mighty big zucchinis too. And I like all the marigolds. Those are some huge tomatillas over there.
Tomatillas have become one of my favorite vegetables this year.
I've been dehydrating them, and they're delicious.
Oh.
Dehydrated, they're just like sweet as this was the most recent addition to the community garden, and they've gotten in and done a really good job, even though I don't even think they planted until about 2 months ago. So this is a pretty quick job, but it looks great, and I can see they're getting a lot of salads.
And then this is the asphalt area that you're still trying to get taken out.
Yep, it was, it's not the prettiest thing, but then this year's blackberry harvest has been really good. All the vines around the edges, which we've been cutting back from our personal beds so that we don't just get overgrown. But
and
yeah.
And then you got a drainage ditch here to get the water out.
As much as it, yeah.
For now.
Exactly.
And this is the area that you're hoping to add beds to this year.
Mm-hmm. And get a lot of community space going. So that's our big goal this year, is to get a really good community gardening structure going. So we have all the private plots, but we also have a large communal area that we can all harvest from and that the communal members can join. One of the reasons we have left the concrete in this area is because we're trying to make it wheelchair accessible. So we're actually going to pull the fence in a little and allow for some handicap parking spaces right in here. And then have some garden plots that are raised up higher and that are, you know, have nice walkways so that people with wheelchairs can fit through and get their gardening together, because we know a lot of the older folks in our community have great great ideas they can share with the rest of us, but accessibility is really important.
Right.
So we're making sure that the garden will be accessible to everyone from 3 to 83, and we're really trying to get everyone involved.
How do people help if somebody wanted to donate something or wanted to join in some form? Is there, but didn't necessarily want to do a major garden operation? Is there some way for them to participate and help the community facility here?
Well, definitely. We're always looking for donations, because this is really a community effort, and no one is, you know, we don't want anybody to put out thousands of dollars. We want to, you know, work and see what we have around our house, you know, see if someone came by and donated 5 extra shovels they weren't using. We've had donations of compost and soil, gravel to help fill in some low spots. And so we've really, you know, we've been very lucky that we have such a giving community here in Willits. But we're also always looking for other things too. So,
what's at the top of your list right now?
We're always looking for more soil. We're always looking for, you know, more things, nutrients to help the ground. So compost is always good. And money, if people have money they want to donate, we'll happily give you a nice box of premium fresh organic vegetables.
And I'm sure somebody with a strong back would never be turned away.
Oh, no. We've actually had great help from the California Conservation Corps. They've sent out some really sturdy 22-year-olds to come dig trenches.
I've heard you serve a pretty good lunch to them.
Oh yes. If you come, we will feed you. Yes. No one around here is not going to be fed
No
delicious.
kegs of beer, but fine
no.
sandwiches and...
all the organic produce you can munch. So we're definitely trying to keep everybody happy who helps us.